Hi and good morning, and this is the amazing John T. Wright. And I'll tell you what, the Holy Father chose me, and I can't help it. I guess I'm boasting, because you know why? I'm the common Joe without a hoe. That's okay, because I didn't want one. But I do like women. I just don't like hoes. No, I do like hoes. Hoes are fun, and, even Joes can be hoes, like me. Oh, I'm a whore. I'm a very difficult one. Oh. Yeah. If you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. You'll get great wisdom with a little bit of action, you know what I mean? I like to see a little elbows and assholes. And that goes in many ways too, by the way, ladies. And, this is just my morning thoughts and stuff. And, what comes to me is, I am a very humble person. When you have a lot that goes through your life that brings you to such a place is where God will take you. When you accept the Holy Father into your heart, He comes and lives and dwells within each and every one of you. I never thought that I was special in any way, shape, or form. My family knows it. Oh, I'm a really funny guy. Yes, I am. But if I've been enlightened by the Holy Father to be so funny and action-packed at times, because God wants me to be His lover and His fighter and His entertainer, and it comes to a lot of things come to my mind. I get up in the morning. I've been up since probably about 4 o'clock. By 4:20, I'm sure I was thinking about a cup of coffee and a bong hit. I'm a normal person. I start to think out what's right and what's wrong through all of this that I've gone through. I've led to believe that Donald Trump's the Antichrist. Why? Because it's been revealed to me through everything that's gone on in my life, and I've been forced to come before you, and I'm not asking nobody for worship, whatever. I'm a peaceful person. I don't like to be pissed off. I don't think that your neighbor should act out against you, and I don't think that your neighbor should act out against me. And I don't like to hear cars revving up and going by and people causing frictions towards others. If your neighbor needs to talk to his neighbor, he should come over and knock on the door, and maybe the other neighbor would be kind enough to say, well, I got some coffee, let me go grab my coffee and I'll come out and talk to you. You don't need to invite somebody in your home, especially if they're a threat to you. Now, if they're not a threat to you, you might be able to get some common ground and sit down and have some coffee. You might as well start it outside. It's a good place to have a fight too, is outside, because you don't want to fight inside of your home, and you don't want somebody to get hurt, because once they come into your home, I've been lured into people's homes and I've become a target to them. So I don't like that either, so I don't suggest that happening either. But I will say, my Grama sermon to me really comes to heart all the time, you guys. If you lay down with fleas, you're bound to get, if you lay down with dogs, you're bound to get some fleas. Well, am I calling you fleas? Well, fleas irritate people. Now, if you goddamn irritate me, I want to get a hearts 2-in-1 collar. And what goes up does come down. Believe me, for the love of God Almighty, you better stand up today with your red little hearts that people generally do wear. They think they're doing the right thing. They could be being led the wrong goddamn way, and you know what you get? Right in the fucking graveyard. And I'll tell you why I'm having this conversation this morning. Just because this heart looks so good, whether it's blue or red. When you see something like that in the graveyard, that's not very fucking happy. Unless you love the person so much that they left a mark on your life that you were so happy that you put a heart on them. But you know, you could take that heart, you could turn it straight and point it straight up, because for the love of that person right there, you should look up in the sky and ask, what's your destiny going to be? Because some vessels are created for honor and some vessels are created for wrath. And which one do you really want to be? Because I'll tell you what, I went through Revelations in 2014. I'm not a snowflake. I'm telling you the truth. And I've seen Donald Trump do blasphemous things. And he even, the one that gets me is he's on TV saying he's the opposite of a Nazi. What's he trying to tell you? He's the Lord. He's God standing right in front of you. Well, he's been standing right in front of you, and he came on my radar. Now, if you come on my fucking radar, now you've got my goddamn attention. And my family knows I'm like the fucking proctologist, and if you think I'm blowing smoke up your ass, I know you're wrong. Everything I do is calculated. You know why? Because the Holy Father guides me. He told me to back off away from where I was at. Why? Maybe he wants me not to be with a bunch of dogs and a bunch of fleas to be attacked. Well, it's nice to talk to my neighbor Chase, and it's nice to talk to my landlord Dan, and you know, I think there's 3 people here that's, you know, on the same page, and it's probably the same way around here, you know, but hopefully, and I know that there's a little bit of troubles and stuff, you know, a guy with a dog that nips at the back of a thing, and you know, I think he's getting worked on too. The magic is happening over here. It's like Chase says, we was talking, he says, I said, Chase, and I baited him into this, I admit it, I goddamn will admit it. You know, Chase comes over finally, you know, he's over here, he's sitting right here in the doorway. Here, I don't use that door too much, I put some stuff over there. Use my front door that I don't have a bucket seat here. See, when you're on the run in your DB Cooper, son, you don't have a seat in the front seat. My seat was left at my sister's place. You guys got fleas. Hey, I got the 2-in-1 the 2-in-1 the heart's collar here, Bonnie. What goes up does come down. Hey, I'm your brother. Isn't this fucking fun now? So anyway, you guys, if you lay down with dogs, you're gonna get a bunch of fleas. You know, Donald Trump is the Antichrist. And I'll just tell you, he's sitting there telling you he's the opposite of a Nazi. I don't have to tell you I'm the opposite of a fucking Nazi. You know, I'm so happy that I sing to the Holy Father and each and every one of you, even though I don't sing worth a fuck. And to all the women out there that I know down in Camas, I want you to be safe, and I'm sure you are, because I probably left some kind of something on your heart. You know, I have that effect on somebody where I could just look into them and touch their heart and leave them in amazement and wonder. They all wonder what I do behind their back. What do I do? I try to just, the Holy Father's first. And my needs are met between here and the Holy Father. And then everybody out here is like another layer of cake. And it goes down, and it just goes downhill for me. So if I'm doing well, everybody else does well around me. And my family knows that. Why they'd pick a fight with me? You picked a fight with the wrong person. And I believe in the Holy Father with all of my heart. And I've always came to the Holy Father through the Holy Son. And I had such a relationship with him, and I didn't know that I was his number one. And don't be jealous, because you know what? I never thought that I was special. I just thought to myself all the time, when you think about leaning on someone, just lean back and be upright. You know, the other people around you admire you much more better. I don't know anybody in town that really hates me. I know people that would avoid me. And why? Maybe they're not living up to what they're portraying their expectation to be, and I see through BS. You know, God was trying to tell me things up there in Thurston County when I was at Bonnie and Ernie's house. You know, He sees through me. And then all the pieces came together. He made me go through such things down here in Camas. You know, I didn't have nothing else better to do, and it's better than being in trouble, so I started picking up garbage. I got a vest. I think you guys seen it. You know, Donald Trump wants to lower his thing down to the garbage man level. Him and our Hobbit, his attorney, I noticed, and I know that she's looked at my profile. She knows who the fuck I am, and I know Donald Trump is sweating because he's the Antichrist. He would even turn the military on his own people, because why? Well, I'm out here with the people. The people are getting a good feeling around me. We're getting stronger, we're getting better, and we're lasting longer. We can run circles around Donald Trump and his trumpets. And I must admit that knowing my sister Bonnie's expressions and stuff, that she feels like she's a threatened species. Well, you're a maggot. What do you goddamn expect? You want a heart's 2-in-1 collar? Because you're nothing more than a flea? Well, that's what Grandma said. When you lay down with dogs, you're bound to get some fleas. Well, Grandma knew I never laid down with dogs. My grandma actually gave me a Bible. I went through a whole bunch through Armageddon for all of you. I don't want to hear your goddamn shit. I don't want to hear your fucking sympathy. I like love. I like happy music. I don't like... Okay, what upsets me is somebody will try to push their goddamn phone on me, wanting to show off their fucking phone, and all of a sudden it's just goddamn making noise and goddamn crap around me, and I live a peaceful life. I mean, even if I'm in my own motorhome and somebody pulls out their phone, it can upset me. And when people come up to me and they start showing me shit, graphic stuff on their phones, I'm very offended. It's very offensive. And I'm telling you, if I feel those frictions from other people, and I do, I walk in and I see the expressions on people's face. If they're not joyful and happy and stuff like that, I know there's goddamn problems. And I could be at the counter and see this sort of stuff, and you know, I can counsel somebody right at the counter, and these women know it. It don't take much when you're an upright person, ladies. And I love each and every one of you. And some of you I favor more than others. And it's not because of your looks, it's because of your ethics. Very impressive, very impressive. Could you do more? You don't have to impress me anymore. If you just stand up and do the right thing, you've impressed me. If you've impressed me, you've impressed the Holy Father. Okay, if you're living for the Holy Father, and you're not judgmental, and you try to get along with people, you know, hey, everybody's right until they've proven to me they're wrong. Then I have to go and I have to counsel them a little bit, and then they straighten up a little bit around me. You know, I guess that's what I do. That's the magic. You know, I could come into the bowling alley and have half a bowling alley filled with people, and I'm there, and I go, what's going on? And these people are all bitter backbiters in these bowling alleys. And you know, Lewiston, Maine, they had a bowling alley, and right there in Morton, Washington, Lewis County and Morton, Washington, there's a connection between those two. It's like the yin and the yang. Because I was doing this and that, they did a bowling alley over there to send me a signal what they were goddamn doing. And it was no mistake that that bowling alley got hit in Maine, and it's no more than the Republican Party's bullshit. Just like the barge that hit the Fremont Bridge over there, the Freeman Bridge, and Mr. Trump's doing that with his law enforcement community that's helping him and aiding him. And I watched the thing just last night on this shooting and stuff of Mr. Trump, and it falls into the biblical. He got shot with a mortal wound, you know. It was biblical what happened with Donald Trump. And then he had this miracle that he was all healed miraculously, and the world wooed and wondered and followed him. And now I'm standing here telling you the rest of the story. And if you're written in my book of life, that's my Father's book of life. He is in me and I am in him. Hey, food for thought of the day. Treat each other like you'd like to treat yourself. And anybody that wants to put up their arms and stuff, pull their arms up and harm towards others in this country as well as around the whole world, the eyes of the Father is upon you, because I'm watching the news broadcasting and stuff, and God, his hand is at hand, you know, and I'm sitting back and I understand it now. And if you think I'm the evil one, well, you could do to me what I say you should do to Donald Trump if that's the case. And that takes me back to the bowling alley in Morton, Washington with a saw on it. My mother telling me about two women fighting over a baby. One says it's mine, she says it's hers. They end up going in front of the judge. One of them ultimately says, go ahead and cut the baby in half. The other one says, no, you can have it. Just have it. I'll just want to look upon it. Well, you know what God tells me? Cut the baby in half. I don't need this shit no goddamn more. I don't need this goddamn shit any fucking more, and I will not put up with it any goddamn more. And he says, I will run this like a iron rod. And God told me that my ass was on the line, and he shoved an iron rod right up all your asses, like I told Ernie Toback months ago. And I was right there, and I told him about spinning the wheel on the Taylor Swift thing. I've got that wheel right here that I actually spun. And I'm telling you, having fun with Holy Father is number one. And why would I want to change my ways? I'm not doing anything wrong. By the way, I'm going to talk to a couple people I know, and I'm going to invite them out, so if they feel like they're frazzled and stuff, they can just come and see me. You know? I'm sitting up here, I'm out of harm's way, I'm doing exactly what the Holy Father wants me to do. And I don't want to rub salt into a wound I won't have to. Because Humpty Dumpty said on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty Donald J. Trump back together again. And you could stick a Band-Aid on something. You could try to cover it up all you goddamn want. But I'm right here. There's a house at 1007 7th Street, Camas, Washington, that has a burnt spot on the floor. And Susan Jane Donahoe's down here. And I got the Sharia woman down here, and I wish everybody safety and stuff. But whatever God's plan has to do with the three of us individuals being pulled together in all this action, I can only wonder. I'm amazed by the Holy Father, by the way. And I'm just saying good day. And this is like 20 minutes, even 20 minutes. Like, you know, numbers come up. 20 perfect, 21, 7, 14, 21. 7/14/21. Remember that. That's the law. And have a nice day. My name's John T. Right. Bye.